Welcome in, guys, to episode 7 of the Wildcard Lads. I'm Ryan,
I am Peter.
Markello.
and we're almost halfway through the season, and the New York Giants
And the
are on the
Jets are
board.
still winless.
The New York Giants are on the board, though. Big first win.
Everybody's on the board.
It's not a
Oh,
big
that's
first
true.
win.
That's
It
true.
wasn't big.
It was a big win.
Not a
One
big,
place
big
out of the
win.
division.
It was a team that took advantage of a team that was helpless out there.
Hey, you won. So,
Just
the
barely.
The NFC East is, I think, this is the worst division in football. Pretty clearly, maybe this might be the worst, of all time in one season. The winner of this division might go 6-10.
Yeah.
At this rate, yeah. What are they? Most of the teams are like 1-5.
So
Dallas
Dallas
tied.
is 2-4. The Eagles are 1-4-1, and then the the football team and the Giants are 1-5.
So the Giants are one win away from
Everybody.
first place in this division. There's an
Pretty much, yeah. It's kind of scary.
So there's hope.
hop into
Imagine
it.
if Saquon was healthy.
Eagles and Giants are our first matchup Thursday Night Football.
And this is it's such a toss-up game because the Giants are putrid, but then the Eagles are also putrid because,
Well, what do you think of last week's game?
like I said, we took advantage of a team that looked lost out there.
I don't understand Ron Rivera. I don't understand how before the game he's like, we need to get Antonio Gibson more touches for him. He's our offense, and Terry McLaurin obviously is always open. The amount of times Terry McLaurin was open and didn't get the football because Kyle Allen was either late on a pass or you just missed him is horrifying. And they keep giving the ball to Peyton Barber, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't see the point in starting Kyle Allen either. Give Haskins the ball no matter how bad. Either way, someone's going to be bad. I'd rather give it to Haskins.
I have bad news for both of you guys because I know both of you guys have Michael Thomas in fantasy.
Here we go.
Even though his discipline is over, his injury might not be over. He might miss Sunday's game.
Nah, he's playing.
I just got the Pete Ryder report.
At this point, if he doesn't play, I'm just adding fantasy points to my team.
Mekhi Becton is also practicing for the Jets.
Mekhi Becton doesn't get any fantasy points.
As is Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I don't know, though, for this game on Thursday. They're both really, bad going into it, so I just don't know who to pick.
Well,
Eagles have injuries all over. Miles Sanders is out.
Yeah, I guess I'll just take the Giants just because, what is Carson Wentz going to work with?
It's in Philly.
I'll still take the Giants. Just because,
confidence. We're back.
Miles Sanders, I think he's working with, is Greg Ward playing or no?
I think Greg Ward's playing.
Whatever. He's working with practice squad guys.
Play.
Sean Jackson.
I think he's working with, practice squad guys and, Richard Rodgers. So I don't have faith.
Peter?
I want to pick the Eagles. It's just they have literally nobody, at least the whole year. Well, not the first few games because he missed them, but at least, the past few weeks we were able to say, okay, he has Zach Ertz and he has Miles Sanders. Zach Ertz hasn't shown up. Miles Sanders has played good as long as he's been on the field, and now he has neither of them. Before we were saying he was playing with nothing, now he's literally playing with nothing.
And still with Dallas Goedert either. Not coming back this week.
Let's give some respect to Travis Fulham.
Yeah.
No, he's balled, but if you're getting forced that many targets a game, I'd ball too.
I just don't understand how you're going to beat this Giants football team, regardless of some of their decision making and play calling on offense, if you can't run the ball. And I don't think Boston Scott and Corey Clement as a running back 1-2 punch is being able to get the job done against this run defense. I'm going to go Giants.
All right, I guess I'm going lone wolf here because I can't even remember the last time the Giants had beaten Philly in Philly. I'm going Eagles. The Giants are too bad of a team to go for 2 in a row.
Yeah, but the Eagles have nobody playing.
Carson Wentz might have had his best game I've ever seen him play against the Ravens, so I'm going Eagles.
Even with no Miles Sanders, no run game?
Mm-hmm. I mean, Miles Sanders, outside of the last couple – he has one huge run the entire game, and then they only give him 9 to 10 carries the last couple weeks anyway.
He opens up the offense. When you don't have that threat and you stack everybody in the box.
But I like Travis Fulham. I like, even though he might get shadowed by Bradbury, I'll take Deshaun Jackson, and I think Boston Scott can beat their linebackers in coverage, especially.
All right, it's going to be an interesting game.
Especially Mr. Blake Martinez. I'd go one-on-one with him.
I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think we both don't be surprised if we go into half and it's 6-3 or like 10-3, something like
Yeah, I
that.
wouldn't be surprised.
I think it's gonna be like a 17-16 final score. The Eagles kicked the game
Yeah.
winner at the end.
That wouldn't be surprising. It's going to be a low scoring game. If there's an over under on like 40 points, I'm taking the under.
Yeah, I still don't trust the Giants offensive line, and Daniel Jones. I feel like we'll have a turnover or two.
Well, look, we're not trying to say the Giants are good just because they beat Washington.
You're predicting them to win.
I'm predicting them to win against an injury riddled team.
Yeah, no, but this injury riddled team has been playing pretty well against some of the better opponents in the league the last 2 weeks, Pittsburgh and the Ravens.
Look, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not locking it in saying, 100%. I know for a fact the Giants are going to win, but I just don't. If I'm a betting man, I don't want to put my money on, even though the team's better coaching, better quarterback, with no weapons, and even the defense seems kind of lost.
No, that's fair. I like how we have it split here. There's no way I was going 3 Giants. Like we made that mistake before with Jacksonville. So
All right. So 2-1 Giants.
yeah.
Next, we have the return. The Saints are on a bye week. I was hoping Michael Thomas would be healthy by now, and apparently he is not if Sean Payne's considering keeping him out for another game. Christian McCaffrey is also going to be out for this game, but he might return next week. So there's going to be a battle of Teddy Bridgewater, who had an epic collapse last week. I don't know what happened to that Panthers team last week. And did you guys watch the Panthers game last week?
I feel like every team is gonna have like 1 week where they just come out flat. You know what I mean?
And the Bears have a top 5 defense, to be fair.
Yeah, like the Bears have a lot of Pro Bowlers out there. So
I actually thought there was a glimmer of hope, Ryan, at the end of the game. There was more than an ample amount of time left. I think it was like a little over a minute, if I'm not wrong. And Teddy Bridgewater got the ball back to go on a game-winning drive. And the first play of his game-winning drive, he threw an interception. Wasn't even close
he's
to his
also like,
receiver.
look, you still can't take it away from like Chicago secondary. They have Pro Bowlers like all over the place. So, it's not like he's playing like against some scrubs. Great defense.
The Bears just find ways to win. They beat the Bucs last week, and then you see what the Bucs did to the Packers. So
Why does David Montgomery fail to rush for over 50 yards when he's the only running back there? Especially against like a bad Carolina defense, who is the worst.
I don't think that offensive line is that great though. I don't think it's like his fault.
It's like average, maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
below.
I think it's like an average offensive line that he just can't
but
find the holes with.
When you're getting all of the carries and you're playing one of the worst run defenses in the league, why can't you hit 50 yards? When was the last time you rushed over 50 yards?
I think like week 1.
What about the Giant game? Did he knock over 50?
Maybe, let's see. I don't know.
I don't think so. He stays around like 30
or 40
yards.
You guys know my stance on Montgomery. I'm not a big fan of David Montgomery. So I was coming out of college. So I just don't know what happened. I mean, maybe sometimes it takes time. Like Ronald Jones looks good now in tier 3 for him.
Week 1, 64 rushing yards. Week 2, 82.
82. And then he went 45, 27, 29, and he got 58 last week.
Like, it's just, how do you – I understand he's getting catches as well, but coming out of college, he had like a burst, like a speed when he would hit a hole. And then coming into the league, we haven't seen it. I don't know what happened.
It was the same story with Ronald Jones for 2 years. And now Ronald Jones is back.
So you're predicting a Montgomery breakout next year?
Yeah, well, it's not going to be this year.
Anyway, so the Panthers are coming to Louisiana.
It's going to be a good game.
Saints.
It's going to be a good game. It's
the
more
Panthers
like,
always play us well.
Not even that.
And Joe Brady knows
you guys need to do what do what Chicago did to Teddy Bridgewater last week. But I just don't have that much confidence in your secondary.
One of the best Saints offenses I've ever witnessed in my life was run by Joe Brady, and that's when our defense was also at its best. That was the second best Saints defense I've seen. This is year 2017, and Joe Brady would dice them up in practice. I remember getting all the reports of like people getting torched, and it wasn't even like superstars doing it. Like this is like young Traquan Smith like beating people on routes, just like clever route running. And Joe Brady knows how to depict this offense. He knows how to depict the Saints defense. He knows how to play with Dennis Allen's brain. So we're going to need our corners to step up because I already know he's going to target them. There's going to be a lot of passing. Don't think there's going to be a heavy Mike Davis run game. There'll be a lot of passing. I'm going to go with the Saints, though.
I think I'm going to take the Saints in a shootout.
Shootout? I think this is going to be the beginning of Drew Brees' comeback tour. Everybody's saying he's washed at the beginning of the year. This is the comeback tour. It starts today with the bad Panthers defense. He gets confidence, and we just build from there. Michael Thomas doesn't come back Sunday. I mean, maybe he does, but it's not looking as it he will right now on Wednesday.
Nice
So
comeback.
I hope he comes back. Actually, I don't even hope we could beat him without. We could beat this. I'd rather him be 100%. If he's not 100%, I don't want to rush him back.
For me, Markello's fantasy team, he's got to get on the field.
Not even that. Not even for like the fantasy aspect of it. I'm
needs to be
not
healthy.
happy if I'm going out there and I have Emmanuel Sanders and Traquan Swift running, routes for me. Not
Why
my
not?
ideal.
Drew
Why
Brees has a
not?
connection with Emmanuel now.
Barely squeaked by the Chargers.
They have the connection. They figured it out.
I know, but
The real question is Jared Cook going to play?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, guys,
Jared Cook needs.
I'm also going to go Saints here. I think coming off a bye week too, even though it didn't work out for me when I picked Matt LaFleur coming off a bye week, but I'll trust Sean Payton coming off a bye week. And I do think Michael Thomas is going to play, and I think he'll be the difference in the game.
Regardless if he's not 100%.
Yep.
I think him just being on the field, like kind of how like what the Falcons do all the time with Julio, who by the way is in trade rumors that maybe going to blow it up by the trade deadline in a few weeks. The Falcons might trade Julio or even Matt Ryan. Just having Michael Thomas out there as a decoy will open up our offense. It'll open up the run game for Kamara and Murray. It's going to open up the passing game for Emmanuel and Traquan. So even if Michael Thomas, look, the fact of the matter is he's not 100%. Every player who gets a high ankle sprain doesn't play at 100%. We see this year in and year out. So we're not going to get the Michael Thomas last year when he's breaking records and getting open, not just on slant routes. And we're not going to get 100% Michael Thomas this season, but even 80% Michael Thomas will open up this offense.
And I honestly think he's healthy. I know Sean Payton's saying that today, but I think he would have played in that Monday night game against the Chargers.
No, but
if not for
high ankle sprains, they just linger. You don't play 100% no matter how many weeks you sit out. We saw it last year with Kamara. He said it going in the offseason coming into this year.
A different story. He's also a running back, so he gets hit on every single play. I feel like
but it has nothing
Thomas,
really to do with the hitting the ankle sprain. It has to do with getting in and out of cuts.
Yeah,
that's huge on the receivers.
No,
They
also
your whole game is running routes.
Michael Thomas,
especially if you run just slants like Michael Thomas, man, that's a lot of cutting.
He's also a little bit different because they said very early on that it wasn't as bad as they thought it was.
Yet he's going to miss how many weeks in a row?
Well, he missed 2 weeks ago because of disciplinary reasons, not because of injury.
Well, he was supposed to miss the minimum time for weeks.
If he's not even ready, if he's even questionable to play this week, he definitely wasn't ready to play regardless of his ankle 2 weeks ago.
But I don't think it's questionable. Like today's only Wednesday. I think Sean Payton's just saying that as like a precaution. Like he'll limit him in practice, but it'll be
look. Obviously, we don't know. We're not in the locker room. We're not the team doctors. But my only wish for the Saints is to only send him out on the field if he is 100% healthy, and there's no risk of re-injury. That's my only concern.
No, I mean we'll see what happens, but we're all going Saints though, right? Anyway,
it's going to be a competitive game though. I'm not counting out Joe Brady and Teddy and this offense. Robbie Anderson will torch this defense on Sunday. It will happen. The Panthers will score points. Robbie Anderson will have a touchdown.
That's always good for the brand.
He will have at least one touchdown. All right. Next, Ryan, it's all you. Buffalo's coming to MetLife to play the Jets.
That's perfect. Anytime some team loses, a perfect bounce back game is playing against the New York Jets. Buffalo went from like everyone's favorite team in September, and now in the matter of 6 days, a lot of people are jumping ship. I still think Buffalo are a good team, but I always had questions about whether they're going to hang with the Chiefs and even Titans, which they didn't. But it's only October. We'll see how they do, in the playoffs. But Buffalo's going to win this game, even if I think Darnold's going to play. Maybe he's limited today, so he's probably on track to play. But the Jets are just so bad. They actually have the highest point differential in NFL history.
Yep.
And they have a positive turnover ratio. They're 8th in the NFL in positive turnover ratio. So it just doesn't make sense. That's just how bad the Jets are. I mean,
that's what Greg Williams was talking about. Like, not all these touchdowns are on the defense.
No, he can say whatever he wants, and that's true to a point. But Greg Williams also sucks. So hit the door, you and Gase. Buffalo here pretty easily, and I think that after their last two performances, this might be a 10-plus point victory for the Bills.
This actually might be like a 17-plus point victory.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be a little bit generous because the Bills kind of
Probably more.
Dude,
they let us up easily last time.
the Bills
It
lost
might
2
it
weeks
might
in
be
a
a little
row.
bit more. It
I
might be a
will
little
say
bit
though,
more
I
just
did say
because I
this.
think the
I did say
Bills.
this a few weeks ago, and it's come true. That Bills defense is nowhere near where it was last year, for whatever reason. And I'm not saying it's going to be a
Josh
problem
Norman
this
on the
week. I'm just
field.
talking about for
Too
for the
reliant
future
on Josh Norman.
and for the
Sucks.
playoffs. But it's not just Josh Norman. They're getting run over. They're getting. It seems like anybody that's not throwing against Tre'Davious White is getting open.
Look, my word is that the Bills had got embarrassed 2 weeks in a row, and you already know they're getting, their asses kicked in the locker room by the coaching staff, and they're going to want to come out and prove a point. And what better team to do that than the Jets? Who
Yeah.
went scoreless against Miami. Not even a field goal. Nothing.
I mean, it's pretty
0
impressive.
points.
It's pretty impressive tanking job.
You send out, you send out your captain on the defense at 8:00 at night during the
Right after the
midnight
game, yeah,
game?
Steve McClendon.
Something.
He actually drove to Tampa right after the game, so he didn't even bother coming back to New York.
Actually,
Yeah,
drove straight to Tampa. This team's a joke. I think. Who reported it? Oh, there was some analyst that report. So Pat McAfee, the ex-punter for
Oh my
the
God, I
Indianapolis
love him.
Colts.
I love Pat.
He has
McAfee,
ties.
bro.
He has ties. He has NFL sources. He used to be in the NFL. He has NFL friends. He's friends with the media. He is the media now, so he has a lot of reliable sources. And he actually said on his show, I saw it this morning, that the Jets already know, it's confirmed that they are trying to tank. Usually, teams will never openly say it, but apparently it's already said within the organization that they're trying to lose games.
I mean, he didn't have to
So-
say that. The fact that they're keeping Gay should tell everyone that. I mean,
So,
it's a pretty
This
clear
is going to
plan.
be
And
this is
listen,
going to be like the Browns a few years ago. No wins. It's
I'm
gonna
honestly,
happen.
I'm honestly fine with this because anyone who knows the story of the Jets or anybody that just follows football closely knows that the Jets in previous years, even they never had a team this bad, but they've had bad teams before and won meaningless games, which have taken them out of they'll miss a blue, an amazing prospect by one pick. So this is, I'm glad they're finally, and I don't want to jinx it because I'm still scared Jacksonville. If the Jets do end up winning one game, Jacksonville do get the first pick if they go 1-15. So it's not set in stone yet. That's why Adam Gase should stay here until it's it's final.
Jeez.
Well, look, at some point we're halfway through the regular season, which is crazy. It flew by. Who are you targeting? Because obviously, we're all from New York, and all of our friends and everybody who's going to watch this either going to be Jets or Giants fans for the most part. Who should the Jets want as a head coaching candidate? Who do you prefer?
I mean, there's a lot of options. I mean, last time, if anybody in the Jets organization would have looked at Jets Twitter, they would have hired someone pretty decently. Nobody wanted Mike
Matt
McCarthy.
Rule, Kingsbury.
Yeah, and
Besides McCarthy,
only older people
McCarthy
that are calling into the
troopers.
radio wanted Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy sucks. Is he as bad as Adam Gase?
He's
No.
losing the locker room already. It's
Mike McCarthy is a terrible head coach. So if you wanted him, you're an idiot. But most of Jet fans wanted Matt Rule, Kingsbury, or Matt Rule. What I say, Matt Rule, Kingsbury, and there's one other candidate. Oh, Todd Monken. Todd Monken. He's now coaching in college. So I would like to get him back. That's why he was also kind of like a dark horse candidate that I liked. I like Matt Campbell, and I would interview Joe Brady.
Do you think Joe Brady? I feel like Joe Brady has bounced around so much. I guess a head coaching job for New York is different.
There's talk about, because obviously Douglas came from Baltimore and Philly. The Baltimore defensive coordinator could be our one of our candidates.
Is it just me who wants Eric Bieniemy?
I would interview him for sure.
Because, dude,
I mean,
I understand.
Anybody that comes from the Andy Reid coaching tree is usually very good. So,
not just that, but people again, no discredit to Andy Reid. He's a Hall of Fame coach by far and away, and he does, he has a lot of say in the offense. But people don't realize that Bieniemy is the one who also he's just as involved in that offense, creating plays, calling plays as Andy Reid is, and people just neglect that fact.
No, yeah, I think he should have been hired last offseason. But I'm just not sure the Jets are going to go that route. I don't think they will hire him.
Why wouldn't you go the route with a team that just won the Super Bowl, might win it 2 years in a row?
I think they're going to let Douglas decide because of what happened last time with Christopher Johnson deciding. Obviously, he didn't know what to look for. So I think they'll let Douglas pick one of his own guys, which I got a funny feeling it's going to be the Baltimore's defense coordinator.
Why not just hire him to be a defensive coordinator? Why do you have to promote him to head coach?
Well, he's not going to leave Baltimore for the Jets for the same position. That would be the stupidest.
People said that about Joe Douglas leaving Philadelphia to come to New York.
Yeah, but he took the actual GM job. Like he wasn't. Howie Roseman was the GM.
Yeah, I know, but why would you leave a Super Bowl contender just to go to the New York Jets?
Because he got to upgrade in position. Like he's in control.
There's a trend that whenever you come to the Jets, your career gets like Adam Gase is not going to get a head coaching job once he gets fired after.
He should never got one after Miami, but
going 7-9, you might have some truthers laying around.
Christopher Johnson wanted to I don't know, give him a second run. But either way, I think we spent too much time on this. Bills are going to win this game pretty easily. Yeah, we'll get to. Don't worry, there'll be plenty of time for the Jets in the offseason. We're already in the offseason mode, so.
All right. Next, we have the Cleveland Browns going to play the Cincinnati Bengals. What a disappointment Cleveland was against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I said this.
Baker was not 100%.
I said this in the first episode. Like Baker Mayfield is not good. He's kind of like Kirk Cousins.
Well, I don't think he should have been playing.
This wouldn't have mattered. Like he gets blown out by good opponents.
This is what, third year in the league? If we don't make excuses for Sam Darnold, why do we make it for Baker Mayfield? He can't win against playoff teams.
And not only that, he's not competitive in these games. Like he threw how many interceptions? 2 this week. A pick 6 to Minka Fitzpatrick. Just a straight up mess. And I understand like Cleveland had, obviously Chubb's not playing and, Wyatt Taylor, they're good right guard, but this should have been a much more competitive game. It was really disappointment. But I will say for this game, and the Bengals, speaking of them, they kind of blew that game against the Colts. Colts had an impressive comeback.
They were up 21-0.
Yeah, so I will say credit to the Colts as we kind of talked about how they couldn't come back. I understand it's Cincinnati, but that's still a big thing for Philip Rivers to come back from. So that was
a team like 30-6, whatever it was.
Yeah, huge win for the Colts. But the Bengals, they basically blew it. They blew that game. So this one's going to be good. Obviously, these two teams matched up. What was it, week 2, Thursday Night Football already? And the Browns ran for over 200 yards, but Geno Atkins didn't play that game. He's playing this game. So, and I think Mike Daniels is also coming back. So I'm not sure if he's going to play, but he came back to practice limited today. But with all that being said, and Burrow's playing really well, I think I'm going to go Cleveland here. I still don't trust that Bengals offensive line. I think that'll be the difference, kind of like it was that Thursday night game where Myles Garrett took over. And the Browns should get back to fundamentals, should get back to the run game and kind of take it out of Baker's hand as much as they can.
Joe Mixon's out too, I think.
Oh, it's confirmed Mixon's out?
I think it's trending towards that way, but again, it's just Wednesday.
What did he injure? His ankle?
I think it was an ankle.
So
was it an ankle or was it a knee?
The Gio Bernard season.
I mean, look, Gio's been taking his snaps anyway, so why not?
Yeah, but it's obviously a massive downgrade, especially if Mixon doesn't play. I'm definitely picking the Browns.
Yeah, I'm going Cleveland. Regardless of how bad they played last week, and enough excuses. Any quarterback in the league that has Odell Beckham Jr. on their roster, Odell's getting more than 2 catches a game. You don't have Chubb there saying that you ran the ball with him 30 times as an excuse as to why Odell didn't get catches. 2 catches is inexcusable. And we thought it was the coaching. It's clearly not the coaching. It's just Baker. So Baker's on a very, very short leash for me. If I'm, the owner of Cleveland, I'm looking at him as, potentially not the answer at a franchise quarterback. Those questions are starting to come up. We'll see how the season goes. I want to see Baker because there's an extra playoff seed. So the Browns still have a good record. If they could win this Thursday night game, a division game, sneak into a playoff seed, I need to see Baker Mayfield win a playoff game. That's what would convince me. He needs to win at least one playoff game this year.
And the problem though is if Cleveland do that, right? And because I'm with you, I told you guys this week 1 or 2 that I would move on from Baker, but obviously there's a good chance they'll make the playoffs or at least the one seed out, so they'll have a pretty good record. So what are they? They're 4-2, right?
Yeah.
So the Browns are going to be out of contention for any of the top quarterbacks in the draft. If Dak Prescott, shook loose, that's who I would sign, but he'll most likely get franchise tag. So you're kind of in what are you supposed to do if you're Browns?
Well, this year you're not worried about tanking for one of the picks.
No, not tanking. I'm just talking about because you know
No,
how good this
But
roster.
losing enough games to where you're in a position to draft one of these top 3 quarterbacks that are coming out. Lawrence, Fields, and Lance. Those are the 3 guys, right?
They're
this
not
year?
going to get anywhere
They're not
near
gonna get
high
any- they're
enough
not
to
gonna
get
get any-
Lawrence
they're
or
picking 15 to 20.
Lance.
Yeah, and these quarterbacks are all going to go probably in the top 10. So
Yeah.
my thing
Maybe
is
top 3
you
if
ride it out
it's
this year.
Jacksonville and Washington.
If I'm a decision maker in Cleveland, for any Cleveland Brown fans out there, I ride out this year. I put my faith in Stefanski and Baker in the offense and the defensive line. Win at least one playoff game. Obviously, you want to win as many as you can, but you need to win at least one playoff game, regardless of who the opponent is. And if you can't even do that, I'm exploring QB options. I'm not saying that he's not going to be the starter by next year, but you start looking at an opportunity to acquire somebody, whether it's free agency or trade, or if you want to trade in for one of these top 3 QBs. How long has it been rumored that they're going to ship out Odell? That they're going to trade Odell, that Odell wants out. You trade Odell in a pick and you move up to get one of these quarterbacks. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think they'll ride with Baker again next year. I'm just, as a Browns fan, that roster's too good to be playing around, though, with Baker for too long. I would try to get some kind of
veteran.
Some kind of veteran, kind of like Nick Foles. Not someone on that big of a contract, but you want someone that could maybe take over if needed next year.
Who's going to be available next year? Cam's on a 1-year deal. Do you think he stays in New England after this year?
I don't know if Cleveland would trade anything for Sam Darnold or a few other options, but I'd look into that. Not Haskins, but there might be an option or two out there. Maybe Jameis Winston, but I probably wouldn't go that route either. So
I don't think Haskins a bad option, but he just needs someone to learn behind. Really,
but
really.
Again, they're not in a position to be teaching.
Yeah, you kind of want someone that's going to take them higher than what Baker would. So
yeah, that's the whole thing. You don't really have anyone there to teach. So
are we all going Cleveland for this game, though?
Yeah.
What color Cleveland?
I'd probably say Cleveland, even though I liked what I saw from Joe Burrow last week, getting all his receivers involved. Finally, we saw a good game out of AJ Green. Been really waiting on that one.
Ridiculous, no points.
But yeah, I think I still have Cleveland kind of convincingly.
All right. We have another sorry game. We have the sorry Dallas Cowboys playing the sorry Washington football team.
Let's go Washington football team.
Really, over Dallas?
Yeah. Dallas looks dude.
As bad as Dallas's defense is, I don't think they could I don't even want to say I think they outscore them because Andy Dalton looked horrible. Here we are gassing up Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, last week, and he puts on that.
I was just joking with that, even though I did.
That was horrible, dude. I was
I
watching
knew
the
he
game,
wasn't
and
but I thought he would be able to put up points.
Dude, they got
apparently not
smoked by Arizona. Absolutely.
Yeah, dude. Arizona's defense all season has been playing horrible too. This was the one game that I feel they needed just to beat up on one team. Buda Baker played amazing.
Yeah, player of the NFC.
And you would think, right? Just losing, Chandler Jones, they would have no pass rush, a lot of deflation. They got after him. They got after Andy Dalton a lot. It
seemed like every play he was under pressure. So they even played Isaiah Simmons toward the end of the game. That's how bad it got. I don't know if you've seen that.
Poor guy.
But this game's tough because Washington they're also terrible. I don't like Kyle Allen. But Mike McCarthy seems like he's losing the locker room from the reports already.
I think he's lost the locker room already. If
we're going into week 7. We're going into week 7 with a brand new coach who wanted to keep everything in-house, internal, and now you have reports coming out that they don't practice correct. They don't do simple stuff.
And the players called him out, and then his response to the players was, "We have to handle this like men."
Yeah, and Zeke is fumbling the ball 2 times.
That's all mental too.
Yeah, he's fumbled the ball a lot this season, so. I don't know. This is. I'm going back and forth between this. Is this game in Dallas or Washington?
Washington. NFC East games could go in any direction, no matter what the teams are.
You know what? This might be my last week picking. I'm going to go Dallas this one. I really don't want to pick them. I really want to just pick Washington, but
Dude, Zeke looked really bad too, though. Even without that line, like Zeke kind of got exposed to not be that efficient of a runner.
Yeah, Dallas are dealing with a lot though injuries too, like offensive line. They lost Brandon Knight is now had knee surgery, so their backup left tackle they're down to the third string.
Yeah.
So would it surprise me if Washington win this if like Chase Young just has a breakout game? No, but at the same time, Kyle Allen is like turning the
Really
ball
good.
over as well, and I feel like the Cowboys will get right a little bit on offense. Obviously, it's a big downgrade from Dak to Andy Dalton, but I don't think their offense is as bad as they showed against Arizona. I think Arizona just had a really good game, and obviously Dallas just weren't prepared. So I'm gonna go Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I'm going to keep it short. I would not be surprised if Washington won this game, just, in the trenches. Um, I'm just not ready to bet. There's just too many big names on that Dallas offense, and there's nobody on Washington's besides, Scary Terry, who's a monster. But when you can't get the ball accurately and on time, even against a bad defense, the Cowboys offense could still score points. It's not like, Washington's defense is playing great yet, but I'll go Dallas for now, but I won't be surprised if Washington wins.
Yeah, but I don't understand what Ron Rivera is doing there, like with the quarterback situation, with a lot of the things that's going on there.
Why is Alex Smith not playing already?
I don't know. And you mentioned this earlier, right, with the Antonio Gibson. Like he went from the main guy a couple weeks ago to now he's in a committee with Peyton Barber and McKissick. So
yeah, but at least McKissick, on the field, he gets yards.
he's
Just
a good
watching
pass
that
catching
game.
option. But
Yeah, but I don't understand Peyton Barber. It baffles me.
he was phased out after week 1, and now he's back in week 6. Like
I don't
he
get it.
got
And
he got like 3
going
carries
in-
in between that,
And going into last week's game, he said we need to get Antonio Gibson the ball more.
and he had like 9 total touches, I think, in that game.
So no idea what's going on in Washington.
Yeah, but at the same time, we could also, before we move on, we already bashed McCarthy enough, but like at the same time, you could turn around and say, what is Mike McCarthy doing in Dallas?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
He's worse
I think
than
we have
Garrett.
more respect on Ron
He's
Rivera,
worse than
though.
Jason Garrett.
I actually think he is worse than Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
110%. That team was a playoff team under Jason Garrett.
Jason Garrett's not a good play caller, but at least he had the locker room.
Yeah.
All right. Next game. Aaron Rodgers is going to Houston to play Deshaun Watson. Packers at Texans.
I mean, the Texans have looked pretty decent.
Deshaun Watson looks amazing. I feel so bad.
Yeah, ever since. And so is Brandon Cooks. Finally seeing Brandon Cooks like a little revamp of his career. I like it.
Will Fuller's been doing pretty good too, to be honest.
Well, I mean, yeah, Will Fuller's now, I think they're solidified number 1 guy with the exit of D-Hop. But I don't know. We saw a little fall in Mr. Rodgers last week.
Because he finally played a good defense. This was the
Yeah,
first
like
real
we
defense he
predicted.
played all year, and he got embarrassed.
Yeah, like we predicted, he was going to get embarrassed.
I think the
Granted,
Packers.
he's not.
Let's not say we.
He's not coming in to play the best defense in the world. So it could be, I don't know. It's more of like, who do you trust, Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers? And they're both like great quarterbacks. So
I think that's
For everybody
generous way to
listening.
put it. The Texans let up 500 plus yards last week.
yeah, I get that. But you also have the offense to back it up. I think, you can go.
Aaron Rodgers is going to have a phenomenal game.
He is going to have a phenomenal game, but I don't doubt that Deshaun Watson is also going to have a phenomenal game.
He's not going to be able to outscore his Packers offense. Aaron Jones is just going to run all over him.
Yeah, I feel like the Packers kind of got like a slap in the mouth, which they kind of needed a little bit too humble. Like, now they're going to be humbled, and I think they're going to blow out the Texans.
Yep, agreed.
A blowout, huh?
Yeah, too bad.
The Texans have been fighting back, and then Watson's been playing really well the last few weeks, but they're not winning. They have 1 win on the season, and I think eventually, even though Bill O'Brien's gone, that kind of, Romeo Cornell kind of wear off, like it seems like any coach that comes in, interim coach, they win the first game and then it kind of dies down. I feel like that might happen with Houston soon.
Could happen. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think you guys might be
I think
under.
it'll be fun. Like like Texans will score, but I think eventually the Packers will just like
Run away with it.
run away with it. Yeah, third quarter.
Are we all saying Green Bay?
Yeah, I'll say Green Bay, but I just don't think a blowout or run away. I think it might be a little bit closer than you guys think.
All right. We have Ryan's Detroit Lions going to the brand new Atlanta Falcons, the new and improved Atlanta Falcons.
It's crazy what happens when Dan Quinn isn't the coach.
Julio comes alive.
Yeah, and their defense played well, which is a shock. I know the Vikings, Kirk Cousins put up a good fantasy game, but he was terrible again.
How many? He threw like 2 or 3 interceptions early in the
Yeah,
game.
Kirk Cousins putrid.
Three in the first half.
Yeah.
So, but we'll get to them when their game comes up. Well, I think they're on a bye this week, but
They are on a bye.
I guess we'll just touch with this game. Falcons obviously coming off their first win of the season. Pretty big win. Julio Jones went off. Matt Ryan won Player of the Week, NFC Offensive Player of the Week, I think. And Detroit are also coming off a win against Jacksonville. They blew them out. Jacksonville is terrible, but Detroit deserved. I guess their defense looked pretty well, which is kind of a shock under Patricia. So it just kind of is that a question of how bad the Jacksonville offense is, or did the Lions just come really prepared after a bye? I'm not sure.
Jacksonville's defense is terrible.
Yeah, and their offense though was horrendous against the Lions. I don't know. They couldn't really get anything going.
We're gonna see how the Lions do against Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, they're big.
They're not going to have a fun time. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I think I'm going to roll with the Falcons here. I know Markello is not a big fan of the Atlanta Falcons, but I do like the Lions, but I just one game's not going to convince me on Matt Patricia. I think he needs to be out of here. And, Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley is a different story. Todd Gurley will probably get going because even though the Lions stopped James Robinson, most of the season they've stopped nobody in the run game. So I'm going to go Atlanta here. I think it will be a high-scoring game. I think it'll be competitive. I'm going to pick Matt Ryan and the Falcons.
I agree with you. I'm going Atlanta. This offense is too high-powering when they're all playing, especially against a bad defense and a team that, is kind of in the dumpster fire. And I think, they're playing for their – not so much Calvin Ridley, but Matt Ryan and Julio, they're playing for their jobs. Wouldn't you agree? They hear all the rumors. They're not stupid. They know that, they might get shipped out. Julio, especially, he needs to prove, he's up there in age, but he's still Julio Jones. He's still a top 3 receiver. And Matt Ryan, with all, the comeback losses that is under his resume and all the things, he needs to show that whatever team, he's not going to be the Falcons quarterback next year. So he needs to show teams that, like, hey, I'm 36 years old, however old I am, but I could still win your team football games. I could lead us to the promised land. So they're going to ball out against any team that they physically can be able to do so. And I think this game is going to be a good representation of that. I'm going Falcons.
Yeah, I don't know. I think even though I've said I cannot choose the Falcons for the rest of the season, I might have to break that and choose the Falcons this week. I think with the exit of Dan Quinn, we've finally seen what this team can finally do. And Matt Ryan looked phenomenal. I have no idea. Jeff Okudah, the poor guy, the rookie, is going to get exposed this entire game by no matter who he lines up in front of. So good luck to Detroit stopping that offense, is all I have to say.
You're going Atlanta? Breaking your
Unfortunately, yeah. I'll pick Atlanta this week.
Here's a really good game. This is probably going to be my game of the week. We have these next 2 games are going to be really good games. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers playing at the Tennessee Titans.
Battle of undefeated.
Yeah. And I think there's a stat that came out today where it's the 4th time. Hold on. I'll pull it up before I say it.
Go pull it up. Ryan's going to start with this, though, because the Steelers, who are undefeated right now, that's Ryan's Super Bowl pick preseason.
Okay, so only 4 times in NFL history, 5-0 teams have faced off. And the winner of this game, 4 times out of 4 had made the Super Bowl that year.
That's crazy.
That's an interesting stat, especially since you have Steelers winning the Super Bowl or going to the Super Bowl at least.
I had Bucks, so I'm looking good. I don't want, depending on injury, but I like those picks right now. We're halfway through the season. But I'm going Pittsburgh here. I love the Titans. Taylor Lewan, torn ACL. That might be what does them in January. That's a huge loss. And even this game, when you have TJ Watt and Bud Dupree, and even Cam Hayward, and unfortunately the Steelers lost Devin Bush for the year. I think he also tore his ACL. He had some kind of his knee injury as well. So we'll see if they add anybody for the trade deadline. But for this game, I think the Steelers will kind of – and Tannehill's been playing really well, but I feel like this might be a game that Tannehill kind of comes back down to earth because of how good the Steelers' defense is. So – and Chase Claypool is balling out. He's kind of taking the reins there as the number one. So I'm gonna go Steelers here. It's not going to be a game where like they kill them like the Browns, but I do think the Steelers are going to win. Like they're going to convincingly beat the Titans.
Yeah, I also have Steelers. I think that defense is just like too crazy in every aspect. Pass rush, secondary. It's like wherever you go, there's someone in there. But not even that. Their offense should, be clicking on all cylinders as well. I think they're getting Deontay Johnson back this week.
Yeah,
is he playing?
Should be, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a huge help. But like I said, good. I think, like you said, Tannehill is probably going to get a little bit of like a wake up call. I don't think it's going to be like as drastic. I think Steelers might get like a 2-score lead and then lighten up their coverage a little bit. So we'll see. But I definitely have the Steelers winning this one convincingly.
I'm on board with you guys, unanimous. I have the Steelers winning. I don't know about convincingly, just because Ryan Tannehill has been having a career year this year.
No, he's balling. I'm not
Henry
saying
obviously rushing for 200 yards. Granted, one of them was on 94-yard touchdown run, but still, doing that counts for something. I don't think he's going to get anywhere near 200 yards against the Steelers defense, and I don't think I don't think Ryan Tannehill is going to throw for 3 touchdowns either. So I think they're going to get a huge wake-up call, and this is a heavyweight in the AFC, and it was supposed to be the Bills the heavyweight, but you saw what happened when the Titans played them. They just ran all over the Bills. So I think this is going to be, this is what's going to do them in. Yeah, it's going to wake them up. It's going to show them this is a playoff caliber game. Don't be surprised if these two teams see each other again, a few months down the line. So I'm going Steelers just because they're firing on all cylinders, offense, defense. And do you see weakness in their game right now? And what the Steelers do? Sometimes their run game's a little slow, but
yeah, I would say the run game.
I wouldn't say it's a weakness though.
If you had to pick something,
Big Ben could open it up just passing the ball.
The only weakness would be if you're playing a team with a really good pass rush. Big Ben tends to hold on to the ball really long. That would be my only weakness. Like as someone who watched a lot of the Steelers games, I have been in fantasy. I'm always a bit concerned when he's holding the ball for like 6-7 seconds in the pocket. But the Steelers have a good offensive line, so I think they'll be okay.
Yeah. So Ryan, you're looking good on your pick so far.
I will say before we move on though, Mike Vrabel won that game against the Houston Texans by putting on that 12th man on the field and stopping the clock and then getting the ball back.
He's always done stuff like that. Do you remember when he did that kind of thing, the Belichick with the whole punting
playoffs,
thing?
Yeah. So Mike Vrabel is an excellent coach and he's one of the best. He just understands the rules and the time management. Like that was unbelievable. Like and Jonathan Joseph looking at the sideline saying like, "What are you doing?" And Mike Vrabel knows exactly what he's doing. He got his quarterback and his Derrick Henry time, tie that game with 4 seconds left. And then as soon as they won that coin toss, if you've seen Deshaun Watson's reaction, he knew what time it was. It was Tannehill and Derrick Henry time. So,
yeah. So going into this year real quick, I had the Colts winning the division, but I don't think it's even in competition. Like we thought last year the Titans might have been like a fluke, like it was just like a hot streak that they went on from the middle of the year going into the playoffs, but they're for real, this team. Well coached, again, barring injury, they should be a favorite going into like whether it's the first divisional round or whatever it is, whatever seed they end up with.
For sure. They're definitely a top 4-3 team in the AFC. And the addition of A.J. Brown I think that might be when A.J. Brown's really good. That was my one concern, like the first couple of weeks when watching them. Tannehill was still balling out, but they were kind of missing that true, alpha dog wide receiver. Yeah. And A.J. Brown is that, so.
All right. So it's 3 for Steelers. Next game that I think is going to be right up there with that game. Another divisional game we have is Mr. Unlimited and the Seahawks are going to the desert to play the smoking hot Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury and the Arizona Cardinals. Who wants to start with this one?
I mean, it's going to be a shootout, but give me Mr. Unlimited.
I like the analysis.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I mean, look, I can't take away. I really did like what I saw from Kyler Murray. He got around the field. I think we'll see a lot of the same this week just because the defense, in Seattle, definitely not as bad as what we saw in Dallas, but not great by any means. So see a lot of back and forth trading touchdowns, but, give me my MVP, Mr. Unlimited in this game. That's all I need.
Yeah. I'm taking Mr. Unlimited too. I only think there's two teams in the NFC that are better than the Saints. I'm going to stick with my Saints as the Super Bowl pick, just because I'm not jumping ship on my team. But there's only, again, it might be biased. I only think there's two teams better than the Saints. I think that's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think it's the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm not picking Seattle. Obviously, they're going to drop a game some point. It'll be like something last-minute drive. They're going to be in every single game that they're in. They'll never get blown out. And I'll be surprised when they do lose. So I'm not picking against them for the rest of the season. And that includes now, no matter how good Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury looked. So I'm going Seahawks, Mr. Unlimited, not betting against them.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also going Seattle here. Their games last year against Kyler Murray, it wasn't even competitive. They kind of just beat him up bad both times, Seattle. But obviously this is different now. Cardinals have DeAndre Hopkins and Kenny Drake came alive. I don't know if that was just against Dallas, but we'll see if that continues. They're going to need that going forward. But Russell Wilson's he's been playing out of his mind this season. They're coming off a bye week too, so and sometimes it doesn't help teams. But I just feel like a good team like Seattle, they didn't even need the help, but they had more time to prepare for this one. And I will say Arizona's done pretty well though against receivers, but it's going to be tough to stop DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. So I actually think this might be a Chris Carson week, but at the end of the day, I'm going to go Seattle.
All right.
But it wouldn't really stun me if Arizona pull this one out.
Well, no, it's a divisional game, and you never know what's going to happen with it. But for now, it's unanimous Seattle.
Yeah.
As of right now, at least.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'll take them anyway. But
we have Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs going 2 Mile High to play the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos pulled out an upset.
That was the upset of the week.
Yeah, that was the upset of the week. I don't know. Cam looked
horrible. It's not
horrible.
happening 2 times in a row.
Well,
I just think that was probably just like a result of. Yeah,
well, look, again, me and you, Markel, we always say we're always picking Kansas City every week also. For me, it's Kansas City and Seattle. I'm not picking
I think that was just a result of, the Patriots coming out flat, had all those like COVID-19 cases. So definitely not seeing them perform to that level again, especially not against Patrick Mahomes.
That could have been you guys, especially you, Peter, you mentioned about teams who miss practice a lot, and Patriots they look terrible. So
yeah, they definitely missed. But Cam didn't play enough practices. You could tell everything was off.
No, but Cam's aren't. Did you guys watch the game?
I seen some of not all of it, but seen some of it.
Yeah,
it was a terrible game.
It's what I was telling you guys before the season started about Cam Newton. He's not as good as everybody thinks he is. His decision-making is questionable, and his arm is subpar. And just because he switched uniforms doesn't mean that he all of a sudden has a magical arm. So, and Bill Belichick definitely helps, but Cam Newton's still Cam Newton. He's still going to lose you games against teams that he should beat and is worrisome in the playoffs. So we're going to get to the Patriots when we get to the Patriots. But as for the Broncos, again, Drew Lock played. He didn't do anything crazy statistically. He even put up a lot of points.
He started off well. There were some really good balls that were kind of dropped and, past.
Yeah.
Patriots had
again,
he melted down in the fourth quarter, Drew Lock.
Yeah, but
2
again,
back-to-back plays.
You expect, Belichick to come out at halftime knowing what's working, what's not working, to adjust to what, the other team's doing. But either way, Drew Lock wasn't playing 100%. The fact that he pulled out this win, I don't understand why some people still think Drew Lock isn't a franchise quarterback that say like Baker Mayfield is. I just think Drew Lock needs to be healthy and the team needs to be healthy. But again, that game is going to go a long way for them if they even want to compete maybe and start like a streak right now, like not even a hot streak, just to win games. But it was a good win to sneak out, especially in the AFC, but when you have to face the Chiefs the next week, it's not so fun. I'm going Kansas City, but talking about Kansas City now, Clyde Edwards-Helaire wants to keep his job, rushing for 140 yards. Kelsey's a monster. Everybody knew that. Tyreek Hill is the ultimate decoy if he's not eating himself. This offensive line is injury riddled, and it's still not stopping them as a unit. Their defense, though, the past few weeks has been like surprisingly bad.
I thought
So
they
many
did really well
defensive
against Buffalo.
breakdowns.
I mean,
Huh?
they don't have to be amazing when the offense is, like
No,
you said,
I know,
stacked
but
out with
compared
that
to
many
last year, they're not
pieces.
playing as good as they
The
were
Raiders
last
game
year.
was obviously bad. I thought they held Josh Allen in check. He did nothing until the end of the game.
Again, that's just Josh Allen, though. He did that against
Yeah,
Tennessee
but I mean,
also.
Josh Allen was an MVP candidate in September.
Well, again, this has to go with the teams that he faced,
No, I'm just saying,
the
like,
defenses he
yeah.
faced. No, look, the Chiefs' defense isn't bad. I think they're average, if not above average. I just think they could be playing better than they have been. And I think against this Broncos offense, regardless that it's in Denver, this should be the game where they bounce back, get some confidence back. Chris Jones is going to be a menace in the trenches. Tyrann Mathieu, he needs to spark up some plays. I'm going Chiefs against, again, still injury-riddled Denver Broncos team.
Yeah, I think we're going to go 3 for 3. I'm going to go Chiefs here too. But I actually think it's going to be a weird game because the Chiefs also kind of they don't struggle, but their offense doesn't really get going in Mile High as it does any other place. So I actually have a feeling this is going to be kind of a low-scoring game compared to most Chiefs games. But I just trust Mahomes.
Chiefs haven't been blowing out teams recently.
Yeah, not only that, just based on 2 years of Mahomes and Denver's division rival, and it is tough to play at Mile High.
Yeah, ask Belichick, ask Brady. All right, next game. Jacksonville Jaguars going to the Los Angeles Chargers.
I guess I'll start here. I'm going to go Chargers pretty easily. If the Jets are the worst team in the league, which they are, Jacksonville's right behind them, and it's pretty close. So Justin Herbert, even though he hasn't won a game, I think he's been the best rookie quarterback so far. And Burrow's played well. It's just Herbert's been out of his mind. And I think that's going to continue against a bad Jacksonville defense. I think it's going to be a 3 or 4 touchdown week for Herbert, and the Chargers are going to win this one pretty big.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to waste too much time. Jacksonville sucks. It's like the only reason why we give the time to the Jets is because, we all like the Jets.
Yeah.
And we're here. But again, I actually do think there's a gap. This just goes to show you how bad the Jets are. I think there is a gap between the Jags and the Jets. I think the Jags are a lot better than the Jets. But being 31st in the league doesn't make you a good team either. So I don't expect this to be a good game or even fun to watch unless you're a Chargers fan and want to see Herbert's development.
Yeah, I think I'm off the picking of the Jags too. Too disappointing for me the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. If you're a Chargers fan, you want to see Herbert light it up this week.
Yes, but yeah, Herbert's came out like phenomenally this season. Like Ryan said, I love Joe Burrow, but by far and away, I think Herbert's been the better quarterback.
Yeah, I think if it ended right now, Herbert would win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Okay. So another unanimous decision. Next game, going to be another good one. San Francisco 49ers going to the New England Patriots.
Big win for those Niners. We all picked the Rams last
Huge
week.
win.
But
Yeah, I know.
And he had no faith in Garoppolo. He just gave everything behind the line of scrimmage. But it worked. All the gadget plays, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle got rolling.
Is it going to work against Belichick's defense at home?
No, absolutely not.
I think it could. I think this will be a really close game. These are two
It
really
is going to be a really close game.
Yeah.
Their defense looked great.
This is going to be a fun chess battle.
The defense looked great against the Rams.
Yep.
I think it'll be a good game, close game, but I'll just always have Belichick pulling it out over any coach in the league.
You know that Belichick can lose 2 in a row?
No shot. I don't think Cam wants to lose 2 in a row either.
Yeah, I was a bit concerned after the Broncos game, but it could have been a lot of factors, most likely COVID related, where they just looked really awful, which they did.
Yeah.
But even in that game, that Patriots defense was good. They barely, outside of Tim Patrick catching that really long pass in the first quarter, I think on the first drive, Broncos wide receivers didn't really do much of anything. So, but I feel like the Niners are going to try. They're going to try to do what they did against the Rams. And I don't know if the Patriots have the speed anymore without Kyle Van Noy and Jamie Collins. to match, getting to the outside in time to stop Debo Samuel. Mostert's out again.
Ankle sprain.
That's a huge loss. Mostert's really good. So it's probably going to be McKinnon and the other guy, Hasty. I think he got most of the carries once Mostert went down, which was kind of a shock. But I don't know. I'm going back and forth between this one. Is this one in New England or is it in
New England?
I'm gonna go Patriots. But this might be a game I switch on Sunday morning.
I can see why you would switch it. I'm going to lock in Patriots, although I do think it's going to be a close game. I won't be surprised. Like, if the 49ers win, I won't be like, oh, my God, I didn't see that coming. I can't, regardless of how I feel about Cam Newton, I don't see Bill Belichick dropping 2 games in a row, especially to his former quarterback. I think he's going to plan this one even more specific. He's going to completely take Kittle out of the game plan. Belichick always does that. Your best option is not going to be an option
against the Chiefs.
Yeah. So he's going to chip him. He's going to do whatever he can to slow down Kittle. Kittle's still going to, be George. He's still George Kittle. But when you take that away from Jimmy Garoppolo, and it's not like, the Patriots are suckers at stopping the run. That's like Belichick's MO, stopping the run. And I don't have that much faith in McKinnon, dicing of the Patriots defense. So it's going to be Jimmy Garoppolo is going to have to do everything in his power to win this game, and Shanahan's going to have to give him the opportunity. You can't do this little, gadget behind the line scrimmage things that you've been getting away with against Belichick. You're going to have to game plan an actual game plan and trust your quarterback, and we're going to see how much of the playbook Shanahan's going to give to Garoppolo. But I don't see Belichick losing to Garoppolo.
We're going to need that. We're going to need a Cam Newton bounce back game. But that is interesting. You mentioned it. Like, I know Belichick's, because there was talk about Belichick wanting to keep Garoppolo over Brady. But now that he's out of there, I think he's going to be – Belichick's going to want this one.
Yeah, 100%. Especially after being embarrassed last week by Denver.
Yep. A game they really should have won.
So, Ryan, you're bouncing?
No, I'm taking Patriots.
Okay. Kella?
Yeah, I'm taking Pats.
All right, another unanimous decision. All right, I think it's going to be another unanimous one too. The scorching hot Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to the Death Star to play the Las Vegas Raiders. I'll start with this one in division. They played a perfect game against Green Bay. Green Bay was hot. They were undefeated. The Bucs have been making, regardless of their good record, have been making mistakes every week. They just found ways to win games. They've been making mistakes every week of this season. If the Buccaneers could play exactly how they played against Green Bay, they will not lose a game this season. They made 0 mistakes, offensively, grounding and pounding. And, when Brady has all of his options there and healthy, besides Leonard Fournette, I don't really count him. This offense is unstoppable. The defense, again, we've been saying since week 1, top 5 defense in the league, shutting out with Devonta Adams there. Adams still did, he still got his catches, shut off this offense. Aaron Jones, non-factor. And they could beat anybody in this league. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers could beat the Chiefs if they played the Chiefs, as long as they play like that. So they're trending towards a team I'm not going to bet against, regardless of injury, or maybe depending on the matchup. If they have to go like cross country or something, short week, I might pick against them. But I'm going to beat the Raiders. That's nothing away because of how good Gruden and Carr are playing this year. We talked about the Raiders last week. We gave them the high praise. We talked about, the 10-year deal. So we're not going to reiterate it. The Raiders are good, not taking anything away from them, but they're not a Super Bowl contender. When you play a Super Bowl contender, you're going to get beat. I'm going Bucs.
I don't know.
I'm kind of up in the air just because of what the Raiders did to Kansas City a few weeks ago.
That, and usually a team coming off as big as a win as the Bucs did against the Packers, sometimes they feel themselves too much.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think Tom Brady's going to keep them in check?
Well, I don't even think Tom Brady was the reason they won that game.
Aaron Rodgers didn't have his team in check. You knew they were riding high because of what Jamal Williams was saying pre-game. You don't talk shit about Tom Brady. You know that. It's given. He must have think they were really like God sent to win the Super Bowl or something, saying, oh, at least my quarterback knows, it's 4th down and stuff like that. Gruden's not going to play around. He's going to tell everybody, look, this is Tom Brady. He's the greatest of all time coming into our house. We have to defend our home. They're not going to make mistakes, so we can't make mistakes. but they don't have, regardless of how good Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller have been playing the offense in general, there's no way like Levante David and Devin White aren't going to slow down this offense. It's just not going to happen. They're too good. When you have linebackers who, or just their whole defensive line in general, who are that fast and could go from sideline to sideline, it's dangerous. I'm not picking against the Bucs.
And the Bucs secondary has been really underappreciated. Like going into
Yeah, they've been
going
balling.
into the year, I didn't think it was gonna be as good as it was, but I said it was a lot better than people thought, and it's finally clicked with all those high draft picks. Jamal Dean is one of the best corners in football this year, according to PFF. Their rookie Winfield, who I loved, absolute star, and Carlton Davis. If you not in zone coverage, but in man-to-man coverage, he's good. But so I'm gonna go Bucs here, but it wouldn't completely stun me if the Raiders win this game. Like the Raiders.
I'm not saying the Raiders aren't going to score. There might be like a Hail Mary kind of thing.
It's really just because of how perfect of a game the Bucs played last week. And I think they had 0 penalties, obviously a lot of turnovers, and they just completely crushed the Packers and Rodgers. You know, the Raiders coming off a bye, that they just beat the Chiefs. They beat the Saints this year, so the Raiders have some big wins under their belt this year, and it's in their home place, so it wouldn't stun me. But I'm gonna go Bucs.
Yeah, I think I'll only go Bucs just because of how good the defense has been playing. Like I don't know. Tom Brady's been a little underwhelming this season.
Really?
For me, at least.
I don't think he's underwhelming. I just think he's doing his job. You're not seeing crazy. Actually, you are seeing crazy. He just threw for 5 touchdowns the other week.
No, I know, but like other than that one game, has he had like any other games where he's had crazy numbers? No, it's been like.
Well, look, this is a whole new offense, a whole new team.
Yeah, he's played.
All he has to do is.
I just expected bigger numbers coming into an offense like this. I don't know. Maybe I'm just
Jones
like.
rushing for 100 yards every game.
I think he's like 15-4 ratio, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Obviously, it's not Mahomes, or he doesn't need to be that.
And a lot of those mistakes came against the Saints.
Yeah, but still taking Bucs this week. I think what is that? 3 of us, 3 for 3.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah.
3 for 3.
Let's see how we do with this game. Last game of the week. So that was a Sunday night game, the Bucs game. So now, I'd love to see Gruden on Sunday night. I love that Sunday Night Football Gruden. So Monday night is going to be the Chicago Bears going to play the Los Angeles Rams. Last game of the week.
This one's interesting because, especially me, I have to give the Bears more credit than I've been giving them. Even though I don't think they're a Super Bowl worthy team, they're definitely a playoff worthy team, especially that defense. That defense is ready for, playoff January football. And Nick Foles, man, it's just like, it's stuff you can't explain. Like it's not sexy watching the Bears offense, but if you need a drive or you need, a game-winning play, like Nick Foles just kind of breeds that confidence in the locker room. You can see it if you watch the.
Did you see the post-game
interview where he's talking about how the Bears can be better? They know this. He kind of had a mini rant, and then he also had a Meek Mill quote where Nick Foles was like, "Yeah, I mostly listen to country music, but when Meek Mill comes on, he's a huge fan." So. The Rams are also coming off a pretty disappointing loss. That felt like we all kind of felt that they were going to beat the Niners, but obviously division games are tricky, and can't win them all. But I'm actually going to go Bears here. I picked against them most of the year, but I just like what I've seen. I think the Bears defense will kind of do maybe even a better job, or as equal as a job as the Niners did against that Rams offense. I think they'll kind of stabilize Goff, and they'll kind of shut down Henderson in the run game. So the Rams will kind of be one-dimensional, and I think Nick Foles will win this game for the Bears.
It's going to have to be Nick Foles because David Montgomery's not going to do nothing this week.
Yeah, well, he's been doing nothing all year.
I know. What do you think he's going to do when Aaron Donald's behind the line of scrimmage before he even gets the ball?
34 rushing yards, like 30 receiving yards.
What do you think, Kella?
I don't know. I'm trying to decide still. I don't know.
I might switch it again before game time, but I am going Chicago for now.
I like Chicago too.
For now, I could switch. It's just I feel like I always put faith in the Rams, and so far every single time I've picked the Rams this season, they've lost. They lost against the Bills when I picked them against the Bills. They lost against the Niners, and I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, I think I picked Dallas to beat them, and then the Rams beat them. So whenever I pick a Rams game, I'm always wrong. So it makes me uneasy. So for now, I'm going Bears.
The only Rams wins this year are the NFC East. So that is a bit of concern. They haven't beaten anybody.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Bears for now, but it's not taking anything away from the Rams. They're a good team, and they're playing at home. It's just, I don't know. I think the team received, again, that post-game conference. I'm big on, like, the psychology of football, too. So just team morale, confidence. That's why I'm big on, like, having practices and just being confident in your game plan is, like, big for me and on winning football games. And I just think Bears have momentum of that right now. And you could say the same for the Rams, like, oh, they're going to want to bounce back. They just got embarrassed by a division rival. But I'm going to go with the confidence of the Bears right now.
Yeah, I think I'll take the confidence of the Bears. And not even like Nick Foles does have to play really great to win this game, but I think the defense is just going to be a big carrier like they've always been. I just don't see Jared Goff, throwing for like any crazy 3 or 4 touchdown games or anything. I really think Darnell Henderson probably has to carry a lot of the load, but how are you going to do that when you have like Khalil Mack screaming off the edge at you?
But let's not, take away from the Rams. There is a clear and easy path that the Rams could win this game. They're at home, and as long as you contain Allen Robinson with Jalen Ramsey, which is very possible, you have a chance of winning the game. If you take out Allen Robinson of this offense, David Montgomery's not going to kill you. Jimmy Graham's not going to kill you. Anthony Miller's not going to kill you. So where are the Bears' points coming from? The Bears are going to have to capitalize on turnovers from their defense to win this game. So by us picking the Bears, we have to assume that their defense is going to cause a turnover and that the offense will capitalize with some kind of points. That's going to be the key to win this game.
It could happen.
I think it will.
Jared Goff to make a mistake.
Bears have had a pretty good history against Jared Goff. I think they're 3-0, and they've beaten him down good every time.
Yeah, look, we're picking the Bears, so we're banking on a Rams mistake or two. We're banking on Jared Goff getting an interception or somebody fumbling something, sack fumble, anything.
We're just banking on how good the Bears defense is.
Yeah. So, but there is a way for the Rams to win this game. It's going to be a good game. I'm glad it's on Monday night.
If the Rams win this, that's a big win for them.
Yeah, they need it.
Yeah, because like I've said, they only beaten 4 NFC East teams, so they kind of need this.
Not just that, they need. Yeah, they need.
They lose this, they turn to 4-3. So
if they want to compete in that division or just playoff seeding in general to get a higher seed than one of those teams to get a home game, you're going to need to beat these. When tiebreakers come into play, because I remember the Saints were in this boat last year where we had the same record as certain teams, but the Packers beat us, so the Packers got the seeding ahead of us, and then there was one other team who got seeding ahead of us because they had more NFC wins. So anytime you're playing in conference, even if it's not your division, it's a big game. So is that good? We agreed a lot this week, I think.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the same picks this week. I will say last week, because last week was actually a bad week for all of us in picks.
So there's a lot of upsets last week.
For some reason, I didn't. I missed 2 of my picks, which I actually put in. Obviously, I got one wrong. I put the Patriots, but the other one didn't register. I put Miami, and it just didn't. I don't know what happened with the app, but hopefully I think we will have a better week this week.
Yeah, I'm going to put in my picks now before I forget.
We should. And obviously, we have the return of Thursday Night Football this week. I will say I really missed Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, it was brutal. Like, it was fun to watch on Tuesday night, that game. But then when Thursday rolled around, like, oh, wait, what do I do? There's nothing on tonight.
Yeah, get rid of Tuesday Night Football. Can't be a thing if that means getting rid of Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, I'd rather have Thursday night.
Yeah, because it gives you that, like, nice start to the week.
Other than that?
Yeah, other than that, thank you guys for joining us again.
And we'll talk to everybody next week.